So here we are looking at the Jones Airheart, which is kind of like, I think Stephanie's got in a quick one on me, the Amelia Airheart, or the Jones Airheart. It's basically the Aviator in a women's shape, women's size. But Steph seemed to like this better than we like the Aviator. And it's been a while since I've tried it. It makes me want to try it again because as described in the profile, the the turned up part, the spoon part of this starts, they say, after the camber ends. And this has more camber than the Jones twin sister. And it has more of a slightly more directional ride, but it's still kind of like all mountain, meaning you can center it or get close to centered, ride it switch kind of like an all mountain freestyle board, and then set it all the way back and get a little directional float and powder. And you do have some rocker, and you can see there's a good bit of camber though. So if you like a board with a little more camber than the Jones twin sister, which the Jones twin sister kind of ends around here, this ends a little further up, at least it seems like here, and then goes to rocker and spoon. I kind of like that. I found with the men's Aviator that it washed on the tail a little bit and washed on the nose. It would, when you kind of laid it over, you got into that area where it was lifted, where it felt more like it was camber, kind of like battalion boards do, where they feel like they're more camber, and then they actually aren't. They wash like rocker and feel like camber, so it tricks you into thinking you have camber. This felt a little tricky for me on that with the Aviator, but it's been a while, so Steph didn't really feel the wash like I felt, and she laid out some really hard carves. So maybe it's been improved, or maybe that was just a problem that I had with the demo board that I tried a few years back. Who knows? But I think Peter had that same problem too, though. But so maybe the Airheart's a little better for that. But it's beautiful looking. It's almost too light and poppy for my taste in terms of long-term reliability. But if I kind of like the twin sister a little better for that aspect. It's a little less light. Feels a little more reliable. But in terms of bases, on paper you would think, like you'd read in forums like die cut like this, where they have to spell their name all over the bottom and put all this shit in there. You would think it would be really bad. However, Jones bases, they just have a glide to them that I just love. I don't know what it is, but all of us here at the Good Ride feel like this just gets you through the cat track, a long flat cat track, the fastest. And this just like really picks up speed and keeps its speed. It picks up speed fast. It keeps its speed well. Jones just really does a great job when it comes to bases. And when you look at almost any other base in this price point, this is one of the fastest out there. So love that. You can see the camber profile again. It's kind of hard to see the lift, but there is a very, the lifted edges, the kind of like boat-like thing I was talking about, instead of like most boards are like this is kind of like that. And it's kind of hard to see that. It's very subtle, but you can see it. And let's talk about setting it back on board. So your reference stance is 22.4 inches. And then set all the way back, you're only looking at about 20 3/4, but that's probably okay. I think this is a I think this is a 148 or something like that. It's on the bigger side. I think we mentioned it in the review, 149. So yeah, it's on the bigger side for Steph, but even so, she liked it. And she likes poppy and snappy and light, so that was good. But so at 20 3/4, that's a pretty decent stance width for most women. And so just going with a traditional disc binding, not a mini disc, you're looking at kind of in between 20.5 and 20 3/4. It's like 20 2/3 maybe. and then you're looking at about 16 and a half. So we'll just say 16 and a half to 20 and a half is 4. So it's probably like, you know, 4 1/4, right around 4 1/4. And if you use a mini disc, you can probably get a little further back, like get closer to 5. So that's cool. You've got a really good setback on board, so you can, you know, get this a little further back on board and get a little more surfy than you would with the Jones twin sister. However, the Jones twin sister has more rocker, so it kind of evens out. But all in all, I think this is a fun board. I think this is, you know, it looks beautiful. Jones just always does that right. And it's, you know, it's got a lot of pop. It's, you know, it's just a poppy, light, playful board. And if that's the kind of personality that you're looking for, and you like the idea of the Jones twin sister, but you want a little more camber and a little more pop and just a little more dynamic feel underfoot, and you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of dampness compared to the twin sister to get this, then you have the Airheart and it can work. It's kind of that nice in-betweener between the women's flagship and the twin sister. If you want to get a little more directional, just a touch more directional, but still have a lot of that all mountain freestyle ability when the stance is centered, you have the Airheart.